For this project, we were asked to design 3 programs on a chosen heritage site for the users Ushio and Noriko. The brief states given their tight financial resources, the elderly couple have situated themselves in a micro-dwelling apartment that operates as a Japanese grocer within the same space. Additionally, a public accessible urban intervention is also to be included to expand their tight space and engage with the city. For my design spatial strategy, I thought it was important to separate areas of public and private. As a result, I've chosen to keep the apartment on the first floor, extending it beyond the building's walls on the east side, the grocer on the ground floor, and obviously the urban intervention on the street. In watching the film, there was something really interesting about the raw spirit and beauty that emerges from the users. There is a lot of complexity between both, as each experiences a lot of ups and downs, yet there is still that love and hope that is shared. As a result, I found their relationship to be somewhat dynamic, strong, yet had areas of fragmentation. I started to look closely into fragmentation. I was inspired by the theoretical concept of deconstructivism, a movement of postmodern architecture which appeared in the 1980s. It was a philosophical movement that sought to undermine preconceived belief surrounding reason and logic, characterized by an absence of harmony, continuity, or symmetry. I began to look at sharp and disoriented shapes that represent forms of fragmentation. I took these shapes and directions and embedded it with my design. I began to look around at the context of the site. Similar to the user's home, it was quite simplistic and boring, majority of the buildings consisting of brown brick. However, even just the slightest of colour would bring a store to life. Similarly, when looking at the user's dwelling, it was quite cluttered and walls and furnishings quite bland and simplistic. However, what caught my attention was the fact that although their room was bare and neutral, their personalities could be represented through their bright coloured objects and clothing. The objects brought upon a sense of energy in the room that was reciprocated on the canvas of their art, so I decided to use bright colours to reflect the personas. This took me to the decision to choose the colour palette yellow, blue and grey as a neutralizer. The use of bold colours on the exterior of the building and the urban intervention was a starting point for me. I wanted to make sure that I had an eye-catching, playful design that was complex and attracted individuals. Due to the site being a heritage building, the front facade and all original openings were not to be touched. I really wanted to juxtapose the new and the old in my design through the use of colour, yet still embracing the site's rich history by keeping as much of it as I could. I decided to use the colourborn roof among some of the exterior and interior of my design, such as walls and furnishings. I also decided to leave the original brickwork on some of the walls of the interior. My concept chosen was creating energy and complexity within a contemporary design. Original ideas of fragmentation and complexity began to transform the interior and exterior of the dwelling. It was a risk, but one that truly embodied the users and their interactions. I then began to put together my chosen colours and materials. I became stuck. I had changed my form, which after receiving feedback, it was said I should have never done so. For me, I had chosen yellow as it had a lot of psychological value. It had energy, happiness, and was very eye-catching. I chose a bright blue because it had a sense of fun yet relaxation and bits of grey to even out both colours so they were not too overpowering. However, basing my whole design on 2 primary colours was still too overwhelming, and it led me to the decision to take a step back and rethink my material palette. So I stuck with my original form, still encompassing previous elements from my second attempt and creating new ones. In regards to colour, upon visiting the site just recently, our building just to the west of the site had been painted, its exterior walls and pavement coated. I was quite inspired by its pastel colours. It was still bright compared to the other buildings, yet not too overwhelming. It informed my design decision to maintain bright colours but go softer. I also wanted to create more order within the use of my colour. The precedent W ego is a building that used colour for a way of specifying distinct differences, whether by room or suitability. This informed me to use colour to create more circulation, using specific colours for objects, for example tables or benches. Materiality-wise, I decided to use plywood due to its affordability and versatility. Kept the idea of colour bond, wooden appeared stone tiles as flooring to create a greater sense of warmth, terrazzo tiles due to their brightness and fragmented look, and bits of metal to have a sharp contrast with the warmth of the interior. So this will be what I'm working towards for submission.
Speak